In this video, I'm talking about 10 strategies for selling software as a service. These are strategies that can apply to any SaaS sales funnel where you're actually doing sales calls, demos, 1, 2, 5 call closes. As long as you're not doing super low touch where it's just someone coming to your website and converting, these strategies should be able to help you optimize and improve your close rates. I'm Rob Walling. I'm a startup founder with multiple exits, the author of 3 books about building startups, and an investor in more than 100 companies. Strategy number 1 is to generate inbound leads and not just focus on outbound. So many sales orgs focus on cold outreach only, cold and warm outreach, really. But why not invest in generating warm leads who come inbound and have that interest, whether you generate it through SEO or content, partnerships or integrations, pay-per-click ads? There are a myriad of SaaS marketing approaches, most of which we explore in depth on this channel. If you're not already subscribed, I'd encourage you to go do so. But the benefit of inbound leads is incredible because if someone comes to your site and they are interested and they're already kind of warmed up, there's so much less effort to get them to convert to a paying customer. Strategy 2 is to qualify your leads early. When I see broken sales processes, oftentimes there's no qualification up front or very little. And as the founder, well, you have to have a process in place to be able to figure out who is a decent fit for your product. Otherwise, you're wasting so much of your and your team's time talking to unqualified prospects. So you want to answer questions like, does this person or their company have the budget for our product? Are they a good fit for our product? Will they be successful using our product? Because if the answer to any of those questions is no, they're an unqualified lead and they're not going to be a fit for you to invest your time into. Strategy 3 is to track your sales metrics. I have seen companies, SaaS companies, doing low 7 figures without tracking the basic metrics of how many leads do we get in a month? How many then become qualified? Then how many demos do people show up for? How many of those do we close? And then past that, how do we retain them? Do they stick around based on their source? To track these sales metrics, which are absolutely crucial because what gets measured gets managed, you'll want a CRM system. A CRM is a sales enablement system, and this is what it's designed for, is to track your metrics through your sales process. Strategy 4 is to ask for the close. I have shadowed salespeople where they do the demo, and at the end, they say, well, I guess we'll have another chat at some point. They just leave it wide open, and that's not what you want to do. You want to ask for the close. You want to ask questions like, does this seem like a fit? Are there any reasons why you wouldn't want to move forward? Here are the next steps to move forward with a purchase. Shall we start those? You're just asking for the close. And if the person or the business is unable to move forward or unwilling to move forward at this point, that's okay, but then they should have a reason for that, right? That, well, I need to go back and convince my boss, or we're really not sure yet, or we're still evaluating other products. And then the next piece, which is strategy 5, is to follow up. It's to have some type of system, usually it's your CRM system, that reminds you that when that person says, we aren't going to close right now, but get back to me in a week because we're still evaluating other products, then you follow up in a week and you say things like, hey, Sarah, we had a great call last week. How's your evaluation process going? Just checking in and following up. The death of your sales process is not having follow-ups, and you should follow up until someone gets back to you and they give you a hard yes or a hard no. Strategy number 6 is to keep a list of objections and responses. Much like support teams have their internal and external knowledge bases that help their customers learn more about the product and help them serve their customers better, as a sales team, you should have essentially a knowledge base. Whether this is in Notion or Google Docs or Dropbox, it really doesn't matter, but it's a list of objections and then the possible responses, right? The responses that have worked in the past when someone complains about price, or they're not sure it's a fit, or do they trust your company with their data, and do you have a security compliance, and how big is your team? And there's all these questions that are going to come up, or objections that someone may come up with to not buy your software. And so keep a running list of those, and much like an internal FAQ, distribute that to your salespeople. Strategy number 7 is to create content for every step of the funnel. I think a lot of marketers focus on the top of the funnel, getting folks interested into your space or interested in your product. But if you think about someone's sales journey as they become problem aware, and then they realize there are solutions out there, and then they come to your website, and then they are a lead, and then they become qualified, and then they demo, and then they eventually close. There are a lot of steps there where a lot of education can be helpful. And so creating content not just for the top of the funnel, but for someone in the middle of evaluating your product versus others, or someone in the final steps of signing up for a paid account, it can be super helpful to have content for all of those steps. Strategy 8 is to offer paid trials or paid pilots. Now, this one might be controversial. Oftentimes, trials are free. And if someone needs a 7, 14, 21-day trial, usually if they're a decent account that you think could close, you're probably just going to give them a free trial. But oftentimes larger companies will want 3-month, 6-month trials. And that's where you start thinking of it as a paid pilot, because you and your team, whether it's customer success or your sales folks, are going to be going through a lot of pain and spending a lot of time to get someone into that pilot. And they're going to be using your software and getting value out of it. And so that's where you consider having this paid trial or paid pilot, especially for those larger customers who need a longer duration to evaluate your product. Strategy number 9, something you may already be doing, it's sell annual plans. If you're going to go through the effort of a sales process, even if it's a 1 call, a 5 call, a 6-month close, you want to get as much of that money up front as possible. SaaS is amazing because it's recurring, but SaaS has the Achilles heel of you only get paid monthly. And instead of getting all of that value up front, you get the value stretched out over time. So you can help pay for the sales commissions and just the cost of sales, as well as the cost of marketing. If you sell annual plans and you can get more of that cash up front, it'll help you grow faster. And the 10th and final strategy is to raise your prices. Similar to selling annual plans, raising your prices allows you to get more value from the customer, and it can send a signal to the space that you are a premium product. It's tough when you're early. If you're not a brand, raising your prices can be challenging, especially if there is an entrenched incumbent. And there are certain cases where you should keep your price lower than them as you're trying to capture more of the market. But I say this all the time. Pricing is the biggest lever in SaaS, and most early stage SaaS companies are underpriced. So raising your prices not only allows you to get more money, but it allows you to explore more marketing approaches. Because a lot of marketing approaches, like let's say pay-per-click ads and cold outreach, these are things that are quite expensive. And if your prices are too low, you can't afford to generate enough inbound leads, see strategy 1 earlier, to keep your sales pipeline filled. And so while raising your prices is not the correct answer in every single case, for most SaaS companies who haven't raised your prices in the past 6 to 12 months, it's something you should think about. Not only will it help your entire sales effort, but it helps you build a healthier SaaS company, and it will help you grow faster. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You should check out the other videos on our channel, youtube.com/MicroConf. We are covering all manner of SaaS topics, from sales to marketing to growth, everything you need to grow your SaaS company faster.